what made people good at like the cold weather training that you were doing? Is it like, did people excel at that were just more like calm in stressful situations, or like what made people good at what you were teaching them?
You know, it's really interesting. The two things that to me I call them like the great equalizers are, one is water. So you could take the toughest guy in the world, throw him in even the deep end of a pool, and some people just do not perform well in water. Right. Not that they can't learn, but it's just not natural to them.
Yeah.
And so that's one. But the other is the cold. And I'm not talking just, you know, some quick cold exposure, like a cold plunge or, you know, even an overnight. But cold weather can really, again, it's a great equalizer. It can really start to separate the wheat from the chaff. Now, most of the guys we got, I mean, they were already proven mentally tough. We would get people, some of which had never seen a snowflake ever in their life. And let's just say that the basic course was 30 days. And within the first 5 days, they're spending their first night out in the field, right? And we normally buddy everybody up so they have a partner. That's just the way the military works, and it's a great system. So they can watch out for each other, but maybe they're equally, you know, at the same level, so they don't have a lot of experience. And it was the guys, so you couldn't judge, like you can't judge a book by its cover is a true statement. But the guys who trusted the information getting put out and just simply applied it as we described it were the ones that got through. And it was the people that either thought they knew better or tried to kind of buck that system, buck that experience, that ended up really having a hard time. Because the thing with, you know, if we're going out on a hunt and it's like just the most insane, egregious weather, we may say, you know what, we're just going to push 24 hours and go out tomorrow morning. But when we were training, again, because of the mission profiles we were training for, it's like, it doesn't matter what it's doing, we're going out. Now, we may modify the mission a little bit when you get out there, but like, we're going. So like, just the absolute biggest, like, shit storms, like, and you're like, I'm even questioning, like, I'm not like questioning, can I survive? But I'm like, I got all these guys to manage. Right. And like, this is just going to suck. Like, it's just going to suck. And the guys that trusted you were the ones that had an easier time. And the ones that didn't, now you're looking at, you know, frostbite and cold injuries and, you know, altitude injuries, like altitude's another one. You know, I've had to physically carry a couple dudes out of the mountains, either their pack or them personally, because they just thought they could tough it out, and, you know, and it's like, no, we told you can't, but I guess you have to learn sometimes the hard way, you know, which is fine. I'd rather them learn those lessons in training than, for sure, you know, than when it's for real. But
how long will you guys stay out?
The longest we'd stay out is, I mean, multiple blocks of either 4 to 5 days. So like we had a kind of the big initial patrol, so to speak. We'd go out in the mountains for 4 days, but that's the one where when we came back, they think they're getting to, you know, the extraction point, i.e. they're going to load up in vehicles, drive back, get some hot chow, take a shower kind of thing. And that's when we'd put them in the trucks maybe and drive them to the ocean, to a frozen lake, maybe give them some fire axes and make them cut a big hole in the lake, and we would do what we call the rewarming drill. So that's where we would take these guys after 4 days, and again, you told them, stay up on your hydration, stay up on your nutrition, make sure that every time you pack your ruck, you're packing as if you're going to stay in the field, because you never know, right? In that case. And so we'd you know, bring them to that lake. There's a kind of a famous photo that we literally had them cut a hole, like almost dig their own grave in the frozen lake. And then, you know, we had these protocols, we had a doctor, and everything was kind of managed safely, but we would put them in the water, depending on the water temp, between 10 and 15 minutes up to their neck in all their patrol gear. So what we would call their hiking gear. And they'd have their loaded packs with their food, their stove, their fuel, their puffy gear, all that stuff right there. And then what that did, we weren't trying to make anybody quit, but what it did is it lowered their body core temp, and that it induced a sense of urgency when they got out. So as soon as they got out, their hands and feet already didn't work. So it's like, if you hadn't practiced, if you hadn't listened to us, if you hadn't kept up on, how you loaded your ruck and all that, you were really going to struggle.
Yeah.
And once they got out, there were, time limitations and stuff. And so the idea was, in a worst case scenario, again, not going to leave the field because you got cold or wet. We were showing them the capability of their complete system, building confidence in themselves, building confidence in their buddies, that they could manage that situation and rewarm themselves, dry out with body heat, and then stay in the field. And so those lessons, if I can be given credit for anything, it's bringing that rewarming drill into the hunting industry. And I've done it now several times on film. And it kind of looks like a circus act, but it's really trying to show the performance of modern technical gear.